Okay, I want to be sensitive to everyone's time today, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us for the GEM Webcast series. Our topic today is Engineering a Better Future with GEM. I'm the graduate advisor for the Global Energy Management Program. I'm Michelle Motley, and my role is working with all prospective students. I'm here to provide more information about the program, answer any questions you may have, and if you decided to apply, then I would assist you with the application process as well. So we do have a packed agenda. Before I go over this, I do want to point out that we will have a live Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So please feel free to send any questions you have throughout the presentation to me directly. And I will answer them at the end. And if you have any questions for our student as well, again, send them directly to me and I'll make sure to point them towards them. So for today's agenda, I'm going to give you an overview of the program. Then we're really going to go into detail about the curriculum of the program. We'll talk about GEM and management. I'll discuss the GEM competency model, our career resources available to students and alumni. That's when I'll pass over the presentation to Willem, and he's a current student in the program, and so he'll give his perspective on why he chose GEM, his perspective of the program, the online format, what he hopes to do with the degree after he's finished, and again, he'll be able to answer questions that you have. Then we'll discuss the tuition and application requirements, and then we'll have the live Q&A session. So the GEM program is a graduate business and leadership program. We're really focusing on business leadership and management within the energy industry. At the end of the program, you receive a Master's of Science in Global Energy Management. I like to compare our program to more focused degrees such as an MS in Finance, an MS in Marketing or Accounting. Our curriculum does have the principles of an MBA program. However, we're unique in that our curriculum is specific to the energy industry, and that's where the Masters of Science comes in. So the program was created, it was actually in development back in 2007, and our first cohort started in 2009, and it was designed in partnership with the energy industry. As I'm sure all of you are aware, there is going to be a gap in between those who are retiring in the industry, and we're going to need new leaders to kind of show up and run the industry, and that's where our program fits in. We're developing leaders for the energy industry moving forward. And what's nice about our program is we do cover all sectors, and I will go into more detail about that when we talk about curriculum, but we're not just an oil and gas degree. We focus on power generation, utilities, renewables, alternative forms of energy, as well as the regulatory side and government relations within the energy industry. And we are very unique in that we're offered in a hybrid online delivery. And the reason why we did this is because our main focus of students comes from those who are working in the industry. They're professionals. They're working 40 plus hours a week and they have families and other obligations. And so we wanted to offer a program that was flexible, that fit in with your schedule, so that not only you could continue to work, but also receive your master's degree. And so with the hybrid online delivery, students can live anywhere in the world, and Willem will be able to speak to that a little bit. And our cohort-based structure, basically how we work is we start a cohort together. It's usually about 25 students, and you progress throughout the program with this same group. So it really allows you to build relationships over the 18 months while you're in the program, because you're seeing these students, every quarter you're meeting with each other. And so again, it's really building that network, that sense of camaraderie with each other. Now, each 4 days of a new quarter begins with in-person instruction. And so that's part of the hybrid online delivery. You meet on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and it's about 40 hours of instruction over that weekend. You have a class in the morning and a class in the afternoon, and this allows you to not only meet your faculty, but meet your fellow classmates, really kick off the quarter. You start diving into, the syllabus right away, but again, it kind of fosters the ability to have discussions with each other, really build that relationship before you move into the online portion. So after that 4 days ends, that's when you move into the online portion of the program, and we do try to make it very interactive. We don't ever want our students to feel like we're just handing you the textbook, move into the online portion, and that's it. You do receive video lectures from your professors every week. You're also put into groups within your individual cohorts, and you actually use Zoom, which is the platform that we're using now, to interact with each other. So you'll have video chats and conference calls with your fellow classmates. You can talk about projects that you're working on or just questions about homework assignments. So it is really interactive during that online portion. And so in that 18-month time frame, you'll meet a total of 6 times in person in Denver. So now I really want to get into the curriculum of the GEM program and our faculty expertise, because I really feel that that's where our program sets us apart from others out there. So as I mentioned, we're 100% focused on energy. Our curriculum and all of our courses are developed and reviewed by industry. That includes our advisory council member that's very active. They come from all different sectors within the industry, so we get different perspectives on what we should be teaching our students, as well as our faculty members, who I'll go into more detail in the next slide. So our curriculum is developed, reviewed by industry. We also have the competency model that makes sure that our curriculum is in line with what's going on in the industry, what's going on within corporate environments, and that we fit our model into helping our students move up the career ladder. There's also a knowledge transfer among students. So as I mentioned, our curriculum focuses on all sectors, and our students come from all sectors as well. And so this really gives you the ability to learn from others who may not be in, your individual areas. You'll have engineers, you'll have geologists in the program, you'll have those who are in sales or business development, you'll have landmen, you'll have accountants, you'll have those in the finance department. And not only will you have people in those different functional roles, but again, you'll have them coming from solar or wind or the oil and gas industry. You'll have people coming in from more regulatory offices and government type of roles. And so you really get to learn from one another, and we do encourage that. It's not just learning from the faculty, but learning from other people and what they're experts in. In addition to that, we do have 2 courses that are special topic courses that travel to London and DC each year. So students have the opportunity to get out of the classroom. They're really wonderful trips to attend. With the London course, you're focusing more on international energy use and policy. You're meeting with top-level organizations and companies, the Department of Energy and Climate Change, BP, Shell, Anadarko, Algeria. We take a trip to Oxford, and you get to meet with Oxford Analytica. So we're really taking our students, again, out of the classroom, bringing them in front of high-level, BPs, so you get to have contact with these people that you normally wouldn't have, just on a regular day-to-day basis. With the Washington course, we focus more on domestic energy use and policy, and so you're meeting a lot with organizations, World Bank, Department of Energy, the Nuclear Institute, and again, it's nice to go on both of them because you get the perspective both internationally and domestically within the U.S. Now talking about our faculty expertise, again, I really feel like this is where we stand apart from others. Our faculty are all adjunct faculty. They're recruited from the industry itself. They're experts in their fields, and they're the one teaching the courses. What we really focus on with our curriculum is real-world application. We want our students to learn one thing in class, and then the next day be able to apply what they've learned in a work situation. And so that's really important for us to, again, have faculty that have the experience in the industry. It's constantly changing, and so they're up to date on what's going on, and again, they can lend their expertise into the class. I also say that our faculty are great resources outside of the classroom as well. We've had students who've reached out to them just because they may be in a work situation and they need some guidance and some help, and these are top-level faculty members that have worked in the industry, and so it might be easier to reach out to them in a more comfortable setting than actually trying to reach out to a VP within your company. So I really do encourage students to use them outside of the classroom as well if you need advice with something that's going on at work. We've had students who have used faculty members for help with business plans, or getting, capital for a project after they've graduated. So they really are a great resource for you. In addition, our program and the business school at the University of Colorado is AACSB accredited, and that's the highest form of accreditation that a business school can receive. I believe it's about 3% of schools worldwide actually have that accreditation, and so that lends into yes, we have experts in the field teaching, but they also are academically qualified to be teaching the courses. So they have a unique blend of both, and I really think that makes our curriculum strong and what our students are learning really on point with what's going on in the industry. And these are just some examples you'll see here of where our students, where our faculty come from, and they are located all around the world, just like our students are, and they fly in to teach the courses when everyone's in person. And they're a resource for you, even though they may not be on campus. They still have office hours just like they would on campus, but they're really great about just meeting with you if you need to. If you have questions about homework assignments, they're really readily available for you throughout your time in the class. And here's an overview of our curriculum and then some professional education that we offer as well. So you'll see our core curriculum, and there's 12 courses total that you have to take while you're in the program. So under core, there's 8 courses total. And then with the electives, you have 3 electives that you're required to take, and then your last course will be your capstone course. And that's really pulling together everything that you've learned in the other courses into that final class. And those who may have been in business programs in their undergraduate degree, you kind of understand that it's a common thing that you'll see in business programs and education is having that capstone course to kind of finish off the program and pull together everything you've learned. In addition to that, we have 2 continuing education courses. So we have the Life Cycle of Oil and Gas course. And that's a high-level overview of the oil and gas industry. You take a course from engineering to land to finance to health and safety. And we do offer that in a 6-week format on campus here in Denver. We also offer that in a 2-day format in Denver as well. And we recently started doing that as we received a lot of interest from students who are out of state who wanted to attend the course. So you do have an option to come here for 2 days and take that. In addition, we have our free online energy business course, and you can find the link on our website to register. It's an open course, it's self-paced, and it's taught by our finance professor. And it really gives you an understanding of kind of where the GEM program comes from, and the fact that we're focusing on the business side of the energy industry. The format's a little bit different than what our classes would be in the master's program, and obviously it's not as rigorous because it's just a free online course, but again, it kind of gives you that understanding of where we're coming from with our curriculum. And now this is where I wanted to dive into our actual courses and what you're taking every quarter. And so you'll see kind of an overview here. So in the first 6 months of the program, and as I mentioned, it's an 18-month program. So in the first 6 months, you're really focusing on the big picture of energy, kind of understanding it broadly, the tools that make sense of the industry, both externally and internally, and really just getting an understanding for the industry as a whole. And so that comes along with, GEM 6000 and GEM 6100. You're taking, the 21st century is basically that broad overview, talking about each sector, how they all work together, how they don't work together. And then you're also taking with that your energy economics course. And I want to note that we actually set up the courses in a certain sequence because they do build upon each other. And so this helps it where you don't have to have any prereqs prior to coming into the program because we do build the courses upon each other. For instance, you take economics in quarter 1 and you take accounting in quarter 2, and you have to take both of those courses before you actually take our finance course. And so you'll see here, there's some examples too of what you'll be doing in those classes. Now, as you move into the second 6 months, this is quarter 3 and 4, and as I mentioned, you're not taking finance until quarter 4. And these 4 quarters are all of your core courses that you're taking. So you do take your core courses before you actually get into electives. And so here you're focusing more on specific, aspects of the energy industry, and then you're also getting a better understanding of leadership, of human resources, which is our strategic human capital course. And then what we do too, if you haven't noticed, is with each quarter, how we set it up is you take a quantitative and a qualitative course together because they do complement each other. Instead of having to take 2 quantitatives or 2 qualitatives together, they kind of balance each other out. So with the technical aspects of energy science, you're really learning, I'd say that's the one technical course in the program. You're learning the science behind energy, and that is taught more you'll get into the engineering side of it, and the rest of the courses are more business focused. And then when you move into the very end of the program, the last 6 months is when you get to take your electives. And what we say with the electives is this is where you really get to hone in on what you're interested in. Now, you could want to really dive down and go into a certain avenue. Maybe you're really interested in finance, so you want to get more into advanced finance and then take energy asset and production management along with that. Or as you see here, you can kind of do it to round out. I mean, maybe you're in finance right now and you don't really want to hone in on it any more than you already are because it's something you do day in and day out. And you want to take something totally different that you just really don't understand or know a lot about. Maybe you're working in oil and gas and really kind of want to understand what it'd be like to, own and operate a renewables company. And so, hey, maybe you'll take the commercialization and management course in renewables. So there are some options, and the special topic courses that travel to DC and London also fall under your elective courses as well, so you can always take those. And kind of a note about the special topic courses, most alumni and students that I speak to that have actually attended those really wish they were mandatory for everyone. It's not something we can do, obviously, because our students are working professionals, but it is highly recommended if you have the opportunity to go on those trips to do so. You make a lot of great contacts. Like I said, you get in front of people that you normally wouldn't, so it really is a good option. And then lastly, in quarter 6, you're taking your last elective. So in quarter 5, you're taking 2 electives of your choice. In quarter 6, you're taking your last elective and then your capstone course. And as I mentioned, you're in a cohort program. You're progressing throughout the program with the same group of students. So every quarter, you're taking the same classes together. In quarter 5, that's where, you might take different electives than some of your fellow classmates. But in quarter 6, you guys all reconvene together, and that's when you're taking the capstone course. And I get a lot of questions about, what am I doing in the capstone course? Again, it's kind of bringing together all of the courses into one, but the main project that the professor requires of students is you're creating a strategic plan for an energy company, and that can be of your choosing. And so, you might really be interested in solar and you want to do it for a solar company. Others might be interested in an oil and gas company. You can go that route. And that's kind of true for all of our courses. So in all of the courses, we are focusing on all sectors. However, if there is a sector that you're more interested in, you can hone in on the projects that you do. A lot of the professors allow kind of, you to choose, like, this is the project that you need to do, but you get to choose the type of company that you want to focus on. And so students who come from different backgrounds may or may not choose what they're currently doing, or maybe they want to explore different sectors, and so they choose to do a project in that route. So you do kind of, while we don't have specializations, you do kind of have the opportunity to kind of specialize in what you're interested in by the projects you do. And in addition to the electives that you see listed, we also have recently started independent studies, and they've become very popular among our students. And so let's say there really is something that you're passionate about, that you're really interested in, that you really want to dive further into an area. You can do a independent study course with a faculty member of your choosing who's an expert in that field, and they can kind of lead you through that as you complete this project. And we've had a few students do it, like I said, and it's been very successful so far, and they've really liked it. So that's another way you can kind of specialize the degree based on your interests. So now that we've talked about the courses and what you'll be learning, what projects you're doing, how kind of it's structured, I want to talk about how the courses fit into the management functions that are within an organization and a company. And that's very important for the GEM degree to be relevant to what's going on in the industry. So you'll see here we have the main management functions. You have planning, organizing, directing and motivating, controlling, general energy, knowledge, and then legal and regulatory. So in green are the GEM core courses, and there's at least one course that falls under each of the main management functions. And obviously we did that on purpose because we want you to have an understanding under each of these management areas. In addition, the courses in black are the elective courses. So let's say you really want to hone into the legal and regulatory side of the energy industry. Not only will you have to take GEM 6200 to have that understanding, but if you really want to dive into it further, you can take the energy law course. Same with energy. Obviously there's a lot of courses here that just encompass general energy knowledge that we want our students to know. But if you wanted to dive into that even further, you can take the commercialization renewables course. And so that kind of gives you an overview of how we fit into the management functions, which brings us to the competency model. The competency model was created about a year ago, and it was with our director of programs and our executive director, Jim Marchiori. And Jim comes to the program with over 25 years of experience working in the energy industry as far as talent management, the succession pipeline. And so he really is a great asset for our program and what we want to do with our students because he understands the industry. And so the purpose of the model was to align our students in our curriculum to company succession and then career planning for our students. They have a better idea of where they're going to be going, what they'll be doing after they graduate with the GEM degree. It was also, we wanted to make sure that the GEM curriculum was in line, again, with more of what's going on in the industry, so you can have those hard tools that you walk away with. And then there's the student assessment tool, and that's just, for students just to know, okay, like, these are the things that I'm going to be learning when I'm in the program. And then afterwards, okay, yeah, I hit on this, I hit on that project related to that. So it's kind of an assessment tool for yourself. And the process of the competency model was, we drafted a model. It was based on industry expertise. And then we had not only our faculty review it, but also our advisory council. And like I mentioned, both our faculty and our advisory council come to the GEM program with extensive experience in the industry. And so they're really helping us make sure that we're in line with what we need to be teaching, what our students need to be learning, because the industry is always changing. And then lastly, we mapped our GEM courses to fit into the competency model. And this is just a basic overview. So the main areas are leading and managing, business acumen, and then general energy industry expertise. And I do have an actual document that really outlines and goes into detail about the different courses, the projects that you're doing, and how they fall into these different areas of leading and managing, business acumen, and energy industry expertise. If you're interested in seeing that document, please email me and let me know. I'm happy to send that out. It's a tool that we give all of our students, but a lot of prospective students obviously like to see that as well, to really get an understanding of, okay, this is what I'm walking away with when I receive this Master's of Science degree. And in addition to that, our prospective students use it as a way to receive funding from their companies. They can approach their manager and say, hey, this is the program I'm interested in. Look how it aligns with what we're doing in the company. This is what I'm going to walk away with. And they're able to receive funding because it is timely to their position and to their organization. And so leading on that note of the competency model, it really brings in the career development piece. So we have that model because we want our students to be successful. We want them to graduate and be able to continue to develop their careers and move up in their current organization or a new organization, really kind of follow their passions and what they want to do within the energy industry. And so when you look, this is like a typical kind of like career development that you'll see in a lot of companies and organizations. You have training, education, and practice. And our goal is to really fall under that education leg. There is a lot you can learn by being on the job and doing it and kind of trainings that your company offers. But there is something about a formal education, learning from experts in the industry, really having that understanding that you can apply from a more formal environment, and just working with other individuals, because it's so easy to be trained in your current organization and you might be in oil and gas and that's all you're focusing on, that's all you're learning. And the energy industry is vast. I mean, there's all different sectors, all different roles. And so that's the great thing about the GEM program is we come in and we kind of give you that knowledge of the industry as a whole. It's very well-rounded. And so here is a career ladder. Again, you'll probably see this in a lot of companies and organizations. And basically, during the 18 months of your time in the program, we want you to develop and grow enough where when you leave the program, you're moving more into a management director type of role. For example, you might come in as an engineer and you're very focused in your area and this is what you know. We want to expand your horizon in a way to really understand, okay, you know, I'm an engineer, I'm in the engineering department, but now I know what goes on in accounting. Now I know what goes on in finance. Now I know from an HR perspective how to run, you know, the energy industry, an energy company. We're giving you leadership skills to really grow outside of your one little niche into more of a manager, supervisor, director. So this is typically what we see with our students. However, we have had students that have entered in on a director manager role and have moved up once they graduated into VP roles. So there is kind of, you know, there are some differences there. Our typical student comes in with about 5 to 8 years of professional experience in the energy industry. And so for some, they might be coming in again in that more focused technical role or specialist role, wanting to move up. Others might have more experience and are looking to, again, kind of jump that ladder. And so you'll see our stat here is 61% of our students within 6 months after graduating have received a promotion and 60% have received a raise. So that is very important for us to not only say, oh, this is what you're going to be learning, this is what your outcomes are going to be, but we also, you know, track our alumni, our students, see what they're doing. So we actually say, hey, it is happening. What we're doing and what we're putting in place, our students and our alumni are actually experiencing. And so there's different ways that we help with your career. As you saw, we have the competency model. Obviously, our staff is here. Our executive director, Jim, is here to speak with you and kind of help you find out where you want to go. There are a lot of resources, but what's very important about our program is we actually partner with a company called Right Management, and they are talent and career management experts. They have locations all over, and their services are provided to our students free for 6 months while you're in the program, and then our alumni do receive a discounted rate with them as well. Services like these, usually if you're going on your own, are about $5,000, if not more, so it really is special that we offer this to our students because we do care. We want you to achieve your goals once you're in the program and when you're graduating. And so some things that they offer one-on-one career coaching. And what's great about that is, one, again, they have offices all over, so they can meet with you in person. They can also meet with you virtually, by phone, by video chat. And then we have them come in on those weekends when our students are in town, and they'll set up appointments here when you're here in Denver. So you can meet with them one-on-one that way. And they're more than just, you know, oh, review my resume, make sure my LinkedIn page is up to date. They're much more than that. So it's all about kind of discovering who you are and what you want to do. And that's really where the one-on-one career coaching comes in. Sure, they'll look at your resume, they'll make sure that your LinkedIn profile is good to go, but they'll also help with interviewing and really finding out your motivations and what you need to do to either maybe show up on your company's succession pipeline if you're not there already, or maybe you're looking to transition into a different company or a different type of role. They're really available there for you, and they're experts. And again, you'll see here interviewing strategies and salary negotiation, which is just great things to know and understand. And so they're very helpful with that. We really encourage our students to use their services. What's nice is, yes, you get 6 months. You don't have to use those 6 months altogether. So we have students who might enter in the program knowing right away, I want to make a career change. I want to move into a different company. I want to move into a different type of role, and immediately start using their services. Other students might be like, hey, I want to take some classes first and kind of see where I fit in, what I ultimately want to do, and then they activate the services. Or it could be something, you start the service a month or two in the beginning of the program, kind of get a feel for what you need to do. They give you some advice on maybe how you should tackle the program and what you should be focusing on kind of in the early stages of going through the program. And then you start up again at the very end and use those last 4 months with them as you actually exit. Then in addition to Right Management, of course, we have a vast network. I like to say that we're a boutique program. We're a small staff. We know every single one of our students. We really care about you. We know your backgrounds, your career motivations. We really want to help you get where you want to go. And so that could be, again, meeting with our executive director. He would love the opportunity to chat with you, really find out your motivations, what you want to do. Maybe he has contacts that he can put you in touch with. But in addition to that, there's just the GEM community. There's the students and alumni that you're with, and we try to do activities and events around you getting to know not only the other cohorts that are in the program at the same time as you, but also just the alumni network. And so you'll see we have students from oil and gas, renewables, power and utilities. These are some examples of the companies of the states where they're at. So we really do have a far reach. We really do care about our students, and we want you to succeed. So we encourage you to, let us know what your motivations are with the program. We're happy to set up coffees for you to meet people, really make those connections for you while you're here. We know one of the most important reasons why a lot of students go back to school to get their graduate degree is that they want to network. They've kind of found their niche and where they want to go with life and in their career, and so they really want the opportunity to network and meet like-minded individuals and kind of progress throughout their career. So we do have those resources available for you. Now, at this time, I'm going to pass over the presentation to Willem. And Willem is a current student in the GEM program. He's graduating this December, and we're very sad to see him go, but we're excited to see where he ends up. And he's going to chat a little bit, again, about kind of what he's experienced while being in the program, his motivations for pursuing the program, maybe give you some insight on how like the online format works and stuff like that. So I'll pass the presentation over to him.
Thanks, Michelle. Lovely picture there. I wasn't expecting that. I sort of sit here. I'm calling in from London today, so giving you a little bit of that international, global flavor. And I'm sort of amazed at how much that Michelle has actually said that almost feels like I'm going to be repeating. But I'll spend a little bit of time talking about what my experience has been like as a student. Also tell you a little bit about what I think the pros and cons are of the program, and some of the things you should be thinking about really as you sort of consider this program for your further education. As it says on this slide here, I'm an advisor for ExxonMobil's new business development program based in London. When I started this program, I was actually a supply planner for Shell up in Aberdeen, so a little bit of a change in career there. I really took on this program because, as I said, I was up in Shell, and I was noticing a couple of things happening in the industry at the time. I kind of felt like, there's a large, turnaround in the business happening in America, and also I kind of felt like, especially in Europe, we were seeing a lot happening with the renewables industry, and those two sort of turnabouts in the energy industry really led me to think that I needed to understand what was happening in the US, and I really needed to understand what was happening in the renewables industry, because being in a large international oil company, you do get a little bit sheltered from some of what's going on in the industry. So at that point, I looked around and I tested out a couple of programs. I was looking at programs in Oklahoma, looking at programs in Aberdeen, in the Netherlands, in London. And eventually, found this program in Denver, and it kind of checked all the boxes in a very, very specific way that I quite liked. You kind of had that energy flavor that Michelle was talking about, where it's really covers all of the industries. It's got renewables in there. It's got a lot of sort of core specific skills. It does in some ways sort of resemble an MBA program, and I think that's that was sort of where I felt I needed to go. To give you a bit more about my background, I actually have a chemical engineering degree. That's what my bachelor's is in, and started as an engineer, and gradually have been transitioning into increasingly commercial roles. And so it felt like as this was happening, I almost missed a little bit of some of the base knowledge that you would get if you did, for instance, a business degree. But of course, there was this energy flavor that was missing as well. So, I mean, that sort of motivation really did it for me, and I investigated the program. I sat in this exact presentation about 2 years ago when I started the program, and listened to Michelle talk about it much the way that you are now. And really just said, sign me up. I'm going to travel halfway across the world and come all the way to Denver to attend this program. And I was happy, and I'm very happy to say that the program so far has helped me achieve many of those goals. I do understand more about what's happening with the unconventional business in the US. And equally, and as Michelle pointed out, there are people that represent the solar renewable industry in the program that you can sit down and talk to, and really, they're happy to discuss this with you. I mean, everyone is in this program really to share their experiences and learn from others. So if I talk a little bit about what I got out of the program, and Michelle mentioned I'm almost about to graduate here, so I'm sort of effectively halfway through the final courses now. And I was actually a little bit surprised by what I got out of the program, because I told you why I came into the program. What I discovered actually is that I was really missing a couple of things in what was happening in our industry. And the GEM program really helped me to become conversant in those different areas. And if I give you an example, I sort of understood this idea of fiscals and taxes and so forth. And, I knew they were out there. I mean, God, we pay taxes and so forth. And I really didn't have a flavor for how that quite worked for our industry. And so I took it upon myself in one of our projects to really ask if we could do some research on oil and gas fiscals. What do production sharing agreements mean? What do concession agreements mean? What kind of licenses do you sign up to? And it was interesting because as I was progressing through that, all of a sudden, I was able to talk to my peers about it and really understand just how vital it is for the oil and gas industry. And that in part led to the job that I'm in now. And it's quite exciting because even, 18 months after I started this program, I'm now sitting with sort of the Ministry of Finance in Romania and actually talking to them about what fiscal arrangements they're going to be putting in place for the oil and gas industry. So, I do credit the program for definitely helping me out in that way and making that leap for being almost a supply planner in some ways into almost a new business development role and an advisory role. That's just one of the examples, and I'm thinking of another one now. I mean, I'm working on projects where we're looking at new licenses in various countries around the world. And the current asset production program that I'm in is actually helping me understand what portfolio optimization means and, how you do Monte Carlo simulations. It's really technical stuff that you can do probably university degrees on in and of themselves. But this really helped me sort of up my game in the organization. And I'm really taking a lot away from it at this point. In terms of the program in general, we spoke a little bit about the networking. It's true. I was a little bit worried when I first came into the program that perhaps, especially the local students would sort of disappear on the weekends to do their own thing. But I was pleasantly surprised that everyone's in there to network as well. So, they're turning up the day before to have drinks with people. They're coming out with you during lunch to sort of talk and network, because you're going to be relying a lot on your peers over the course of the 10 weeks that you do this program in each quarter. I mean, simply put, I do usually speak to my colleagues probably on a bi-weekly basis. We usually use this Zoom software to talk on, every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, just to align on projects, talk to each other about how things are going. Many of my peers have changed jobs as they've been in this program. Many have completely changed their career, going in almost being in oil and gas and moving to renewables, and vice versa. And to that point, maybe I should expand a little bit upon the flexibility of the program. It does help that everyone in this program is actually a full-time working professional. They work in the energy industry. They have the same kind of time issues that you will be having in this program. And when I say time issues, what I mean is, there's a fair amount of work that you need to do. But the program is flexible and it helps you out in that regard. I mean, some students choose to do this in 3 years and may drop down to one course a quarter. And that really helps them sort of manage their workload. Several of my colleagues have had babies since they've been in the program. And, they haven't dropped off in terms of quality of work or anything. So the program definitely helps in that regard. And there are programs around the world where you may be a part-time student, stuck with a bunch of full-time students. And, they're in and out doing 8 hours of study a day, but you're only doing about 1 or 2 in the evenings and a couple of hours on the weekend. And in this program, everyone else is in that bucket. The software, it's kind of funny. I started my first university degree almost about a decade ago now, and we were still using overhead projectors and transparent slides. And so it's kind of amazing to me just how far technology has really evolved. And because of the distances that we're dealing with, the GEM program has taken full advantage of that. So we participate in online discussions amongst each other, typing it out. As I said, we use this Zoom software. The Canvas software, we can take exams through this software. I have it on my mobile phone. I have it on my iPad. So when I'm traveling around on business, I just whip this thing out on the plane. I've downloaded a couple of lectures, and I just sit there watching them. And they record lectures on a 15-minute to 20-minute basis. So it's not like you have to sit down for a 3-hour stint to get through everything. You can sort of take little chunks in and out through your day, maybe during your lunch break, something like that. So I do think that makes a substantial difference in this program. In terms of other stuff, obviously I'll be around for a Q&A session after this. The one other thing that I want to point out that we haven't spoken about a little bit, and I don't know, maybe Michelle can highlight what we're doing, but a group of us is working with the university to really establish a very core, useful alumni program leading out of this as well. We want this learning and this networking to continue way beyond the 18 months to 24 months that you're in this program. And, we're still in the early stages of planning what we want to get out of it. I know that the team, Michelle and the team are a lot more advanced in that way. But I think when you come into this program and when you come out of this program, we're probably going to have something very good that a lot of students are bought into, that will allow you to attend various events, maybe not only in Denver, but around the world. That's all I have right now. So Michelle, if you have any questions for me, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be around at the end.
Perfect. Thank you, Willem. And that was a good point to bring up the Alumni Association. That is a new initiative for us now that we have over 200 alumni and they are located all over the world. We really want to focus on that network for our alumni to really, like you said, continue the conversations way past the 18 months. And so that is a new initiative. We're really focusing on that coming in the new year. So that is something that will be nice for new students entering the program. You'll already have that established once you graduate. And thank you, Willem, for being part of that process. I know there's a really good group of alumni who are working on that and working with the administration on getting that started. I did want to point out, because I thought Willem made a really good example about the fact that, students are moving. Students have gotten jobs while they're in the program, but they're also moving into completely different arenas. And for example, I was talking with an alumni actually back in October, and I was really talking to her about her motivations for applying, was she happy with what she got out of it? And she was telling me, I entered in the program as a engineer, and she was like, I just knew that I really loved the industry, but I didn't know if I really wanted to be an engineer for the rest of my career for the next 20, 30 years of just doing this and kind of being pigeonholed into this area. And she's like, that's why I really pursued the program, because I kind of wanted to open up new opportunities and avenues within the energy industry. And she's like, I honestly didn't know what exactly I'd be passionate about in the industry. She's like, I just knew engineering. And so she's like, what I loved about, the curriculum and the fellow students and the faculty was that I really got to learn about all these different areas that I didn't know about before. And she really came to love the finance side of the industry. And once she graduated, she received a job as a business analyst and kind of focused more on finance and venture capital. And since then, she's even moved into a new role where she's the senior investor of relations. And so she really was like, I didn't even know I would like this. And I just loved it. I loved all the projects that we did in finance. And I kind of was like, this is where I want to go with my career. And another example is an alumni who he had a solar background, and then he was the director of the Energy Efficiency Business Coalition, and he loved renewables, he loved efficiency, but he's like, I just don't know kind of what I want to do long term. But again, I love the energy industry. I'm just trying to find out, where I fit. And he ended up, when he graduated, getting a job with a local utility company in their new product development side. And so again, what's nice about him being at a utility is he's like, obviously we still use wind, we use solar, we focus on efficiency. So I still get to keep those pieces that, were kind of like the foundation of my career. He's like, but now I get to do new product development for them, and he loves it. And so those are examples of kind of people who transition into different roles. But there are students who, because I got a question, and I figured I'd just answer it now, is, really what are students' motivations? And again, some people come in and they know they want to be in energy, and, that they're not really happy in their department and they're using it as a way to transition. Other students love what they're doing and they love their department and they just want to move up. They're ready for new skills. They're ready to become leaders, to become managers within their companies, within their departments. And so they're using this as a platform. So really it differs for all students. And again, that's kind of why we're here to meet with you one-on-one, find out your motivations and make sure that, we're hitting those expectations while you're going through the program. So now I kind of want to go into more of, tuition, admissions process. I know I have a lot of students or prospective students that ask me questions about that. So as far as the tuition, we have a set tuition rate. This is the same rate for all in-state, out-of-state, and international students. It's $4,500 per course. If you are taking 2 courses per quarter, it's $9,000 with a total of $54,000 for the entire degree. Now that does include your student fees, so it is just kind of that set rate. In addition to that, you're looking at your textbook costs. We estimate around $1,200 for the entire program. A lot of professors try to use online materials. Alumni and students are selling their textbooks back, so that cost may vary. If you're local to Colorado, those are your main costs that you're looking for. If you're an out-of-state or an international student, there are additional costs such as travel. We do have hotel blocks with special rates for students to keep your costs down. And I do kind of have like a overview estimate for those who are out of state. So again, if you're interested in seeing that, I can send that out to you to look at. And then as far as admissions requirements, so these are our set application requirements. What we're looking for in students is, again, our average student has about 5 to 8 years of professional experience in the energy industry. We do at least like to see 3 years of experience, and that can vary. We do have students who come in who might be consultants and that work with like energy companies or energy clients. And so you don't have to be employed by an energy company, but have some experience working in the energy realm in some type of capacity. This is the same for government offices as well. And we have students that come in from more of that side, like the Colorado, I believe it's the Colorado Governor's Energy Office, the Department of Interior, they work on energy projects. So we do consider those type of students as well. And so we really look at professional experience. That is the key, because you're going to be in class with other professionals, and we want to make sure that students can contribute to the overall conversation within the classes and learn from one another. So that's what we're looking for as far as our candidates. When it comes down to the application process, it's a pretty basic process. There's an online application. We do have 4 essay questions. They're limited to 200 words each. It's nothing extensive. It's like, one of the questions is, why are you applying to the program and where do you see yourself in 5 years? What the admissions committee is looking for is, we don't expect for you to have this set role. Maybe some of you know exactly where you want to be in 5 years, but we kind of want to understand, where you're at now. Are you working in oil and gas? What are you doing? Kind of what are you hoping to gain from this program? We just want to get a better understanding for you. So again, that's what we're looking for in the essay questions. Again, nothing too extensive. We kind of just want you to drill into who you are and your motivations. Then we do want a current resume, 2 letters of recommendation, and I get questions about this all the time. I graduated 10 plus years ago. I don't have recommendations from my professor. We're not looking for that. We're looking for professional letters of recommendation. So we want a recommendation from managers, supervisor, colleagues, those who can speak to your experience. Again, if you're more in the consulting realm, maybe a client that you've worked with. Those are the type of letters we're looking for. We will need your undergraduate transcripts. And then we do require GMAT scores. However, that requirement can be waived, and that is due to your professional experience. So if you have 5+ years of working within the energy industry, we'll automatically waive that GMAT requirement. If you have between 3 to 5 years of experience, you can petition the admissions committee to waive that requirement. If you kind of fall in that 3 to 5 category, again, reach out to me and let me know, and I can give you more specifics on what we're looking for with that waiver petition. For international students, we do require the TOEFL. And then lastly, we have the admissions interview. And this is something, we added maybe about like a year and a half ago. And it was really because we do know all of our students on a personal basis. We know who you are. And so we thought it'd be a great way to kind of start off your time in the program with an admissions interview. And it's just an opportunity for you to chat with 2 of the directors of the program. And, they really find out your motivations, why you're applying to the program, what you hope to get out of this. And it's a way to learn more about you outside of the paper application. Sometimes it can be hard to just read someone on paper. And so this adds a personal element to the admissions process. So the application deadline for the January start is December 15th. And I'm not sure if I mentioned, we do have 2 start dates a year. So we start new students every January and every July. So January is considered our spring term, and July is considered our fall term. If you started this January and completed the program in 18 months, then you would finish by June 2017. So it is an accelerated program. You do have the option to get in and out if you wanted to. And again, you still have time to apply. Any questions you have about the program or the application process, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be your point of contact through that process. And we do have rolling admissions as well, which is nice. I mean, basically, once your application is complete and submitted, and you've completed the phone interview, then you usually have a decision within about 1 to 2 weeks on whether or not you're accepted. So it is a pretty fast turnaround time. Now, I did receive some questions in, and Willem, this question is directed towards you, actually, and this person wanted to know, what was your favorite course in the program and why?
Interestingly, I probably have 2. I really enjoyed the economics course. I think that's sort of the course that you do in quarter 1. It was just really excellent and really took a step back and looked at some of the dynamics that are happening across the energy industry and stuck a couple of numbers on it. And, I really liked that aspect of it. I'm also really enjoying our asset production class that we have right now. It's one of the more challenging ones for sure. There's a lot of expectation out of it. But equally, it's very interesting from the perspective that you're trying to understand a lot of what the senior managers are doing when they're looking at the portfolio of their products, and what businesses they're involved in. How do they plan what they do in order to maximize the value of their decision-making processes. And I think that combined with the capstone we're doing at the moment and the strategy aspect of it is pretty dynamic. But I can't really point at any particular class and say I didn't like that class. I think they're all valuable in their unique ways. The one thing you will find out in the program, and this happens to everyone or almost everyone, is that eventually you will come across a class where you probably know more or a little bit more than other people in the program. We had chartered accountants, and so by the time we got to the accounting course, some of them thought, well, actually, I could potentially teach this course. But that's 1 out of 12, and I think you look at that, and that's your opportunity to help the other students and to really be a tutor and a mentor and almost leader. Take that opportunity to lead without authority, because for the other 11 classes, you'll be asking for other people to help out.
Thank you. And I got a great question that came in. It's, I work in the utility industry. Can you give examples of what students have done with this degree in utilities? And that's an excellent question. We were actually just doing some review of our alumni and where they've gone, specifically within utilities and power generation. And so some examples are, we've seen someone come in with operations specialty engineer, and they turn into a lead project manager. Others where we've seen like a trading analyst move into a manager of market operations. We've seen a research associate move into business to become a business resiliency project manager. So we have seen, movement with our students within the utility sector. And I would kind of say, like, in our curriculum, it is, it skews a little oil and gas. It's our primary energy source. And our students, we do have obviously a strong group of students that come in with that background. But then after that, you're seeing power generation, utility students come in. We do get a strong group of students from that area. And then it kind of trickles down into renewables, alternative forms like geothermal. We've seen students come in, again, energy efficiency, and then more of those government kind of regulatory offices as well. And I do have another question for you, Willem. They wanted to know, did you attend any of the special topic travel courses? And if so, did you find them beneficial? Would you recommend them?
Yeah, I should have pointed that out. I did, because I'm in London, I actually attended the London course. I really enjoyed it. It was a good week of traveling around and snooping around other people's offices. It was very interesting to see how the other half lives. You get a broad variety of subject matter experts to talk to when you attend these sessions. It's full on traveling around. You're going to talk to several people a day with several colleagues. I think we must have had about, I want to say, somewhere between 12 to 15 people on the London course with me. Many of them took the opportunity to travel on the side. But the other thing that I should point out that we haven't mentioned is sometimes the program actually offers sort of special seminars and so forth around the actual graduate weekends. So, for instance, there was one time when I flew in a day early because we took a trip out to go see a fracking site. And so, we got to go stand in the control room, see what they were doing as they were, effectively going through the curve on the fracking or on the drill site. And, I can't think of anyone else in my company, in my office, that has actually done that or has been there. So those are some unique opportunities. Equally, I think you've gone up to see the top of the sort of solar panel and geothermal parts of the IKEA factory, or not factory, but warehouse. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of other sort of peripheral kind of activities that are going on as well beyond the London and the Washington course. I didn't go on the Washington course myself, but those that did said they really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And that is a really excellent point to bring up. We do offer, we have a speaker series that we offer that's free, open to the public. You can come and attend those in person, but we also stream them live and online. So if you're not in Denver, we record them as well. We have a library if you wanted to go back and view them. In addition to that, we do take students on field trips. Even though you're a graduate student, you can still go on field trips. And so, like Willem said, we've gone to a bunch of different sites. We've gone to NREL, the National Renewable Energy Lab here. We've gone to IKEA, checked out their solar panels and geothermal work. We've gone up to Aspen. They were implementing something new with like water and pressure, something like that. So we did a trip there. We've gone to like a defunct nuclear plant that's here in Colorado. We've gone and visited the NREL wind farm. So we do try to do those type of site visits, usually the day before the actual weekend starts when you're here. And we provide, like a travel, if we'll provide a car to travel everyone together and stuff like that. And so we do offer that. We think it's important to get outside of the classroom. So thank you for bringing that up, Willem, because I totally forgot about that. But it is a nice way to kind of get outside with everyone and kind of bond and meet new people and kind of network a little bit more again with your fellow classmates and maybe some alumni who graduated before you. You get to meet some new people on that. So that's all the questions we have for now. Willem, I'm sure would be open if you did have questions. I can provide you his email address and feel free to to reach out to him directly with any questions that you may have. We also have a site on our website. It's the GEMS Gem blog, and basically it's our student profiles, so you can go back in there, and I would really encourage you to do that. Willem's actually our current Gem for October, but we have one every month, and so you can see a lot of our students, their profiles, again, why they chose the program, where they're coming in from. So it's a good way to kind of get a feel for the students in the program. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm more than happy to help. And thank you, Willem, for being our student representative today. And thank you, everyone, for attending. And I hope you found this helpful. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Bye, all.
Thanks.